Hi, once again, welcome back to Spring One's Agile Leadership Track. Next on the agenda, we have Gautam and Bhuvan telling us how TAS helped Albertsons adjust to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. And today we're going to be talking about how VMware TAS became an essential worker for Albertsons in delivering necessities and items to people during times of need, and especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm joined with me by Bhuvan Parakanti, who is the senior manager for Albertsons. And we are going to take you through this journey of what Albertsons has been experiencing over the last couple of years, the wins, the optimism in the face of adversity that everyone on the team has faced, and also dig a little bit deeper on the psychology of this COVID-19 pandemic, why it is affecting us so much, and how Albertsons has emerged being successful in helping bring that psychological safety to the masses in the community. So first, I'd like to go through the harbor statement. I'm not going to read everything, but basically, we're going to talk about some future looking statements. And these are more informational and they cannot be incorporated into any contract. Anything that we talk over here is not a commitment to deliver the material without warranty of any kind, express or implicit. And also, it shouldn't be relied upon for making any kinds of purchasing at this time. So we are presenting a couple of things at this presentations. Enjoy, use this in your decision-making processes, and hopefully there'll be a lot of cool things that you can get out of this session. The world is crazy, right? We are in an unprecedented, insane situation right now. We have probably never faced something like this for a number of years. The pandemic of COVID-19 has impacted us on so many different levels. And it has demonstrated to us how frail we are as a human race and how fragile our entire ecosystem is. Even though we feel that we are at the pinnacle of technology and we are pioneering newer tech, all those advancements seem to have been impacted and impeded by this pandemic. If we dig in a little deeper, and we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what has happened is that this global pandemic has impacted us at multiple levels. So, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what we've identified is that as humans, the most important things for us are psychological needs. We want to make sure that we're comfortable, we have food and water, homeostasis, all those various things, and we are comfortable. And then we want to make sure we have safety. We want to have security in things. We want to have a clan. We want to have morals. We want to have an employment, a job, a purpose. And then we want to have that sense of love, and we want to have that sense of belonging, friendship, and intimacy. And building upon that, we're going to work on our self-esteem. And finally, we're going to work on our self-actualization. And that's the hierarchy of needs. But what this pandemic has done is it has scared us at so many different levels. And so let's break that down and see why we have had this movement and why we've started feeling the way that we feel. So pre-COVID-19, things were nice, things were good. If you're in California, the skies were still blue. And we were in a comfort zone. We were not really stressed. We didn't have anything that was impacting us from a physiological need, from a safety need, or from a love and belonging need. We probably had some challenges on a normal basis for our self-esteem and self-actualization, but we had constructs that we could rely upon and use in order to build those up. We had physical locations. Everyone remember an office, I hope. So we used to have all these physical locations and we used to tie things together and we used to feel happy. I call that the comfort zone. And then in March, when the pandemic started hitting us, it impacted us at the base of the pyramid. We started having challenges, especially from a supply chain perspective, from breathing. We were scared to breathe the same air as other people. We had problems with getting food and water. I'm sure everyone will be talking a lot, and there'll be a lot of studies and probably PhD dissertations on the Great TP Scare of 2020. But that was the level at which we got impacted that shook the foundation of our physiological needs. And then, added to that, we started having security issues. We started feeling afraid of our lives because there was this invisible pathogen everywhere, this invisible enemy, and we didn't know how to protect ourselves from it. So we started feeling unsafe. And I call that as the discomfort zone, where we started becoming slightly stressed. And then shelter in place happened. And with that, combined with the socioeconomic downturn and the other complexities, we had challenges with morale, we had challenges with security in the personal matters. We had problems with health. We started reading a number of reports of people falling sick and the pathogen spreading. And then with the shelter in place, we even lost the ability to have physical contact and communication with our friends, with our relatives, in some cases with our loved ones. We were separated, sometimes by borders, and sometimes by regulation and policy. And so it impacted us from a physiological, from a safety, from a love and belonging perspective. And that made us go panicked. And when we are panicked, we become completely stressed. And that stress can be really bad for us. And it started affecting us in our day to day life. It started affecting our behaviors, the way we interact with people, the way we talk to others and engage with others, the fear of physical contact, new concepts like having fist bumps and then vigorously rubbing your arms and shoulders and other parts of your body with sanitizer, which was hard to get at that time, became the norm. But those were some of the things that made more stress. And when you have stress, it increases cortisol in your body. And cortisol is a hormone that actually creates paranoia, it creates fear, it erodes trust and empathy, and it makes the environments extremely unhappy. The added disadvantage of cortisol is that it increases adrenaline, which is your fight or flight mechanism. And so you start becoming either extremely anxious and paranoid, or you start becoming extremely punchy. Luckily for us, as humans have evolved, nature has given us a couple of chemicals that get released within our brain to make us feel calm in these kinds of situations. The first one is dopamine. And dopamine gives us that surge of pleasure when achieving goals, when achieving desires, when achieving needs. This is that happiness you get when you achieve something, when you hit a milestone or check a box that you've completed something. Or if you're a developer, you change that annoying red to green. And that is the dopamine that you get. Then you have oxytocin, that is the love chemical. This creates intimacy, it creates trust, it builds healthy relationships. You start feeling happy. That bonding comes in because of oxytocin. And this is something that happens because of physical contact. And what we as humans are starting to do is we are starting to evolve and try to get that oxytocin that we are craving for in remote mechanisms. And in this talk, we'll actually be doing a small exercise where we can generate that oxytocin. The next one is serotonin, and serotonin is a leadership chemical. This is that feeling of pride, of importance, of achievement that you get whenever someone praises you. You get an award, you get a certificate, you are snapped, and there is an email that circulates with your picture on it. That's serotonin. That's what gives you that sense of feeling of pride and importance. And then finally, you have endorphins, and this is called as the runner's high. This is the second wind. It helps alleviate the stress, anxiety. It gives you that push so that you can actually achieve. The body says, hey, here's some endorphins. Remember those dopamine that you're going to get when you achieve that goal? Here, I'm going to try to help you by achieving that so that we can all enjoy with the dopamine hits. So one thing that I would like you to remember is operating on the happy chemicals and trying to find ways to release them is going to reduce your stress. It's going to reduce your adrenaline, make you feel much more calmer and much more happier. So if there's anything that I'd like you to take out of this particular slide, it's that I am recommending you to continuously try to dose yourself with these happy chemicals, only these happy chemicals. So with that, what I'd like to do is have all of you engage in an exercise, in something that will help create that oxytocin and help reduce the stress that you all might be doing. This is also a welcome break. You can stand up and stretch, or you can loosen up, and we can try this exercise to feel a little more positive. It's not going to take too long. And at the end of it, I'm hoping that you'll be energized and positive, and we can continue the rest of the talk. So what I'd like you all to do is, if you're sitting, please lean back, get into a comfortable position, relax your shoulders, move them, wiggle your hands if needed. Just get into that mode of feeling relaxed and comfortable, like a cat that just tries to spread itself in whichever area it takes, usually on keyboards. And if you're standing, just shake your arms, so move your shoulders a little bit and relax. And then what I'd like you all to do is close your eyes. This doesn't work if you don't close your eyes, so please close your eyes. Take a deep breath, inhale, and then exhale. And let's do the same thing again. Inhale and exhale. And now, with your eyes still closed, what I'd like you all to do is try to think of a memory, something powerful, something happy, something that you can reminisce on and feel extremely happy or proud or warm, get that fuzzy feeling inside of you. Think of that memory that will make you happy, or that makes you feel warm inside or gooey inside. And for all of you Harry Potter fans, this is that memory that you're going to use if you're going to cast a Patronus charm. So think of that memory. And what we're going to do for the next 30 seconds is we're going to inspect that memory. We're going to relive it. And we are going to feel the way that we felt when we had that memory. So dig deep, go back to that memory. So still with your eyes closed, and I've put 30 seconds on the clock, I want you all to start thinking really hard about how you felt. What was the sentiment? What was the emotion at that time the memory occurred, or that you had that interaction that made you happy? So close your eyes. The 30 seconds have started. Think about that memory. Go back to where you were. How does it make you feel? Do you feel that warmth, that happiness, that glow? Take that warmth and then spread it all through your body. Let it flow through your body. Let it reach your fingertips. Let's feel warm and happy and fuzzy and get that emotional feel and that positivity out there. All right. Let's open our eyes. If you're standing and you want to continue standing, please feel free and continue to stand. You can open your eyes now. If you're sitting and you still want to be in that comfortable position because your body just feels so relaxed and happy, go for it. I hope you feel energized. I hope you feel positive. And this is a technique that I've been teaching a lot of people. It's a way to bring that oxytocin, to bring that serotonin back into your life, so that you feel happy, that you feel better, you reduce the amount of stress. A lot of it we inflict upon ourselves. We complicate our lives, and this is a way by which we can reduce that stress in ourselves and feel much more happier and be more elevated. So let's go through the agenda for this talk. Now that we're positive and energized, and we're going to dive in. So we're going to talk about business transformation complexity, especially in this world. Why it is so hard to transform. especially in a remote workforce environment. I'm going to give a brief overview of VMware Tanzu. We're going to talk about Albertsons, their experience during COVID-19. Bhuvan's going to share his feelings, his sentiments, his thought process, and everything that went through during that COVID-19 event. He's going to do a walkthrough and showcase the amazing wins and fantastic results that came out of it. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how VMware is helping organizations transform with VMware Tanzu and with the entire portfolio, and how you all can leverage this in your organizations and on your digital transformation journey. And then we're going to end with Q&A. So let's go to business transformation complexity. Every vision of a business transformation is amazing, right? It's motivational, it's aspirational. It is something that you want to hang your poster onto. That is the thing that you will aspire for, that you dream about. And every business transformation wants to make you harder, faster, stronger, better, make you awesome. There will be kittens and there will be unicorns and there will be rainbows and there will be pixie dust and everything will be better and the older way will go away. And that's a very powerful message. And that is something that leaders continue to promote and they aspire for, because that will help us move the needle and move the organization towards the target state that we want to achieve. Now, we start off with something that we can really understand. We are discrete, we are logical, we are rational. We want to have tangible results that come out of things. So logically, the first step that we look at is transformation. It works. And then, a process perspective, we will adopt agility. We will try to make things go faster, be more nimble, be much more harder. And we are going to deliver value and working software quicker to the market. And then we read things like the DORA report, which is the State of DevOps report that DORA, or the DevOps Research and Assessment Organization, releases on a yearly basis. We look at the golden signals. We then look at the elite performers. We aspire to be those elite performers. We want to deploy things faster. We want to deploy things better. We want to have lesser change failure rate, all the things that we want to aspire to. And so logically, what we do is say, this seems like it works for multiple people. Let's try to do that too. So let's enhance our agility with DevOps. And so what we do is we've started investing in technology, we start working in processes, and then we start working on people, upskilling them, teaching them agility, different forms of Agile. And there are so many different camps, XP, SAFe, DA, you name it, Scrum. So you can do different kinds of training, upskill the people, make them feel much more better. And the hope is that you will eventually reach your transformation. There are a number of studies that have been conducted by Harvard Business Review, McKinsey, and a couple of other consultants who have found that more than 60 to 80% of the transformations fail, or they don't achieve their target state. And there are multiple reasons for this. We're not going to go into that. I'm actually giving a talk about why a lot of them fail a little later today. So if you're interested, please join me there. But what the most fundamental reason why this could potentially occur is because there is a true difference in focus between change and transformation. So looking at change is incremental. Change is something that you move towards. It improves the past. You move things slowly. It's evolutionary. And especially in this world in a post-COVID-19 world where things are moving quick and customer experience is changing rapidly and the customer expectation is changing rapidly, especially because of the fact that we want to improve that psychological safety for our customers, we cannot afford to just focus on slow incremental change anymore. What we truly need is transformation. Transformation lets go of the past. It is revolutionary, not evolutionary. It creates a bigger and a better and a newer future. And what it does, it completely changes the way you think, the way you operate, and the way you approach things, be it from a problem solving capacity or from a critical thinking mindset or from a process perspective or even from a technological perspective. And that is what is extremely needed for business transformation in a post COVID-19 world. We don't have the luxury of time anymore, unfortunately. And so in a post COVID-19 world, we want to focus on building newer revenue. We want to keep growing the software and vulnerabilities. And we want to take advantage of the innovations offered by the cloud and by other technologies. But in a commission study, we found out that 78% of the people, the C-suite especially, they agree that improving application portfolio is a top priority, but only 48% of them have made any improvements over the last year, which is really bad. And when we dig upon why it happens, we find out that A, matching the best technology or the best platform to an app is extremely challenging. We have so many choices out there and we need to pick and choose the right ones. Then we find it really difficult to scale IT infrastructure quickly at the rapid pace that we want to go. Or people are too invested in legacy apps that they don't want to change. So these are the three major reasons why people have not been able to make improvements or transform over the last year. Granted, now with COVID-19, when we do the survey, it's going to be a little more different because there would be additional challenges that come out of it, working in a remote environment. But these are the predominantly more important ones. So if the most important thing that we need to focus on is move towards modern apps with greater velocity, and then we want to operate the modern infrastructure with more stability and scalability and security. And we want to do it at scale. And that's where VMware Tanzu and our portfolio comes in. And we focus on an outcome-based approach. For us, success is multifaceted. We want to improve the speed to deployment. We want to increase the stability and the scalability of your infrastructure and your footprint and your applications that are running on them. We want to increase the intrinsic security. And we want to do this all while giving you savings. And if we look at the technological aspect of things, we also acknowledge that there are 6 unspoken laws that govern technology. The first one is Murphy's Law, and we're all familiar with it. Anything that can go wrong is definitely going to go wrong. We have Moore's Law with computing power, and recently there was an article that came out which said that Moore's Law is still alive. That we're going to look at 50x more density, and I think Intel is working on those things. Then we have Conway's Law, where organizations design systems which copy the organization itself, the structure of the organization. These are the first 3 are the more popular ones that we know of. There is a 4th law, which is Brooks' Law, and we all acknowledge with this, and project managers, I am sure, or even product owners know this one. Brooks' Law says that adding more people to a late project is only going to make it later. And that's the truth. Then we have Goodhart's Law, where when a measure becomes a target, then it ceases to become a good measure. There is a story that in the previous Soviet Union, there was the measure of success was identified as the number of nails that could be manufactured by the factory. And so when that became the measure of success, people started manufacturing really tiny, small nails, maybe a quarter of an inch or even, maybe a few millimeters big, just so that they could hit that measure. They started manufacturing millions and millions of those. They made success, but it was useless. Those nails could not be used anywhere. And that was a clear indication of Goodhart's law in effect. And then the sixth one is Metcalfe's law, which says that the more devices that are connected on a network, the more useful it becomes. And if we extend this to a much more cloud native architecture, the more applications that are running on a platform that is abstracting the infrastructure, the much more useful it becomes. And that is what drives us at VMware Tanzu. We also acknowledge that lean, agile, and DevOps are the most important ways to go. These are the transformational drivers. We want to have lean experimentation to build, measure, and learn, and give that feedback loop so that you can constantly be improving upon things. You want to have agile software development, either through pair programming, TDD, cloud-native approaches, different software patterns as needed in order to make things much more modern, loosely coupled, all the 12 factors that you can achieve. And then you want to bring in DevOps, which brings that operational efficiency, the CI/CD, the automation. You want to move things much more faster in a much more idempotent way. You want them to be consistent, and you want to roll back and roll forward easily, and you want to reduce that manual intervention, increase that operator efficiency. You want things to be much more oiled and much more better, and you want them to be consistent, you want them to be reliable, and you want them to work. And that's where the philosophy of VMware Tanzu comes in. And that's where we focus on addressing the developer velocity and the infrastructure stability. And we do it on a multi-cloud environments. We help you improve your productivity by deploying to apps faster. We help the infrastructure scale and be stable and bring that stability that you all need in a secure manner. And we give you the option of multi-cloud or any kind of a hybrid cloud environment. I'm not going to go too much into it because this entire conference is about VMware Tanzu and the family of products and the various things. You all know about Spring. The reason you're here at this conference is because of Spring and because of TAS and VMware Tanzu. But just going to say that if you want to apply all these things, you have Spring Runtime. If you want to deliver software in a secure and automated platform, you have Tanzu Application Service. If you want to work on your COTS applications and you want to containerize them, you have Tanzu Application Catalogs. If you want to operate with Kubernetes across the clouds, you have the Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. And this is becoming more and more popular with everyone, right? Kubernetes is everywhere. Kubernetes is the solution for everything. There are a number of articles that talk about Kubernetes and the way we're going. And we are extremely lucky that we have two of these founders of Kubernetes working with us who are helping guide us and shape the direction that we're going. And then you want to look at all of these. You want to manage them appropriately. So you have Tanzu Mission Control. And then you want to observe them appropriately and make the right decisions in a data-driven way. And so you have Tanzu Observability by Wavefront. It's a comprehensive stack. And I'm going to go a little fast over this. We're going to, from a build perspective, you have a very powerful framework. You have TAS, you have build service, and you have application catalog. You have Spring on top of it. From a run perspective, you have Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, or PKS or TKGI, which helps you give that Kubernetes dial tone that everyone needs. And then you have VCF or VMC, and then you have public cloud and you have edge. From a managed perspective, you have mission control and you have observability that you can use. And if you want to accelerate things and you want to get a jump start on your transformation, we have Pivotal Lab services that help. So let's dive into TAS, because TAS is what Bhuvan and his team have been working on, and they are driving, and they have seen so much benefit out of it. It gives you that CF push. It's the best runtime. It's optimized for developer productivity and operational velocity, turnkey microservice operations and security. It gives you a native Windows and .NET experience. It's built for apps, and it's container ready. Super awesome. I can go on and on about this portfolio, but what I want to do is I want to transition this talk over to Bhuvan and have him localize all these concepts that we have had and I've set the stage for to Albertsons, his experience during COVID-19, and all the amazing things that his team has done. So, Bhuvan, take it away.
Hey, Gautam, thank you so much for that introduction and wonderful presentation so far. I'm sure the audience is relaxed and energized by listening to your talk and going through that session practice. Hello, everyone. My name is Bhuvan Parakanti. I'm one of the senior managers in DevOps area, serving the digital data engineering and loyalty needs under Albertsons. And I'm very excited to be part of this presentation, and thank you for giving this opportunity. I'm here to share my experience over the last 2 years, the way we have transformed and are able to deliver and meet the needs of this unprecedented times as part of this grocery chain market, right? So next slide, Gautam. As I said, these are unprecedented times. I wish I was like we were all in a conference room talking to each other, live interaction, but glad that we're all safe, healthy, staying at home. But I'm also glad that I'm part of a company that is right now in the forefront and serving the society and delivering the needs in terms of meeting the day-to-day needs by providing the groceries across the country. We are big, as you know. We are the second largest grocery chain in the current market. We have started our cloud journey few years back, like 5 to 6 years back, and that's nothing new. But what we have started doing too in 2018 was to build a platform, build an ecosystem that can scale and serve the growing needs, right? So that's when we have been an Azure customer for a long time, and in 2018 we partnered with VMware Pivotal at the time, right? So for hosting our runtime environment. Again, we went through that process of Dojo and all the learnings that we have, and within 6 months' time, we were in a position to onboard the applications, right? So we started. I remember, like after the first 6 months, we onboarded a couple of first applications, and the journey so far. I would say that if I look back and say, like, it's interesting. It was challenging at times also because some of the needs that we had brought in the right questions for both the product team as well as our Albertsons team. But we were able to navigate through that and gain a lot of learning that I'm sure I think VMware as a company and Albertsons as a client, we can share with any other customers if interested. But I think we have come a long way where now we have so many applications that are microservices running on Tanzu Pivotal PaaS runtime. And another thing that I would like to say is I just if I look back, I think that somebody in our management side had a crystal ball in their hand. Maybe they had anticipated this coming in so soon, right? Like I think because the vision that they had in setting up this platform and providing a scalable thing in 2018, I didn't imagine, or I think nobody, it's beyond anyone's imagine that it will bear the fruit and position in such a nice way to deliver the things for our customers right now. So we had, again, as I said, digital presence earlier, but I think we are now in a better shape to take up more new challenges. And our entire e-commerce is microservices with reactive programming, scalable, and a lot of work has been put in by all our development teams in architects and everyone to re-engineer this one. And I'm very happy to say that our entire e-commerce site right now is all microservices off of legacy running in Azure on a scalable platform, like container platform. and using so many other scalable Azure TAS components. So now we are not tied by any infrastructure needs, which will take days and weeks and months, but now we are able to just scale at a given time, short notice, right? And what this has done over the last 4 months, what we have gone through as a company, as a infrastructure team, as an IT team is unprecedented. Like the kind of volumes that we saw and the orders that we delivered went beyond anyone's expectation. Next slide. Or can you please all show all the ones? Yeah. So I think it all started in the first week of March, and we were again, as Gautam was saying, that in the right, everything was fine. We knew that this pandemic was going around, but in March first week, if somebody told that we'll be in a home at working from home for such a long time, we would have not imagined that, right? But it all started happening in the first week of March. But our first reaction to that was the way we treat a holiday season, right? Thanksgiving or Christmas. So everyone was alerted, saying that, okay, keep eyes on, let's go through all the standard operating procedures, see that all our monitoring is in place, do a health check for all the components, right? Right from all the Akamai, API, I mean, all those levels to the PaaS runtime, as well as Azure, all the PaaS components. So we were continuously looking, making sure that everything is fine. So that was our first reaction. But the orders kept growing. I mean, our ecom team and the support team always kept us informed, and the trend was exponentially growing day by day. And then as a team, we were looking at this: how are we ready to scale? Because the kind of the load test or performance test that we have done, right? It's maximum what we do is we go back for the last peak season multiplied by 3. So that's how our systems were designed, right? So we are all the min and max of the containers running on PCF, right? We're set at, say, certain threshold values, but we started seeing loads or the traffic that was causing the containers or the applications go beyond the limits, right? So what it meant was we were constantly working as one team with the application development teams, their leadership, as well as the support teams and command center, always making sure that 24/7 the e-commerce platform was constantly monitored. And we also engaged, alerted everybody on Pivotal side, VMware side, all their architects, their engineers were on call. They were always reachable. And then we also prompted Microsoft support team, and they were also available on call, their architects, their technical managers involved. So it was like a fully well-oiled team working together. Otherwise, what we have seen as a success, right, that would have been not possible. So it all came together to put this into place, and I'm very happy and to share this results, right? What I've done is, I cannot just go back and show the exact things that we did during those times, and I don't want to play with any production environment right now. So what I'll just show you is some of the key steps, right, key components that we touched upon that helped us to meet with this demand. So let me share my screen here. You see my screen, Gautam? Yeah. Well, this is one of the this is our Azure portal, as you guys know. So one key thing or key dashboard that we have an insight into the way the applications are writing out the logs, are performing, is with this dashboard. One indicator that are the logs crossing, is there any unusual growth in the logs, right? So that's how we monitor this dashboard. So during those time, we looked at this dashboard, and the applications that were trending in our list were all related to the e-commerce, cart service, checkout, and all those things. And we were able to list down by the org also, org and spaces. We identified clearly that so and so app, so and so org is using or writing out a lot of logs. Then what we did is, another way we monitor is we use a lot of health watch and app dynamics dashboards that comes out of box with that integration to monitor the health of the foundation. So this command center and DevOps team was constantly keeping an eye on this dashboard, looking at all the KPIs. And right, so when we saw that logging was going beyond certain limits, then we made sure that the metrics under the logging bucket, right, they're all fine, and if there is no increase of say dropped messages. And how we did that is, like, it's not possible to constantly do that, whatever best we can do. So we have set up alerts and alerts integrated with ServiceNow. They can create the incidents, and we saw that there was the alerts that are coming out of this log aggregator in terms of, say, dropped messages, or in terms of the volume that's pumping in has gone up beyond what we have seen earlier. So what we did based on these alerts and based on this chart is to go to ops manager, and we worked with the pivotal team and increased the log aggregator traffic controller VM numbers, as well as scaled the size of the VMs for this particular category, right, a log aggregator. And along with that, increased number of Doppler servers also. So that took care of logging for some time. But this kept on improving, like on a daily basis. A couple of days, we kept on looking at that, and we reached at a point where it was not anymore read, or there were not more any dropped messages. So we hit a limit, or we hit a position where the logging was fine. Then came the number of containers, right? So each of these services that we deploy into PCF is through CI/CD, as you all know. So we use Jenkins, and these services were deployed with certain min and max thresholds, right? That was again tested for the 3 times the peak load. But we started seeing that some of the apps were hitting the higher limit, and before, like, whenever an app runs out of space, or if the containers run out of numbers, right? If it's going beyond the memory, what we get is crash alerts. So we have set up alerts in using log analytics, because all the logs from PCF go to Microsoft Log Analytics, so where we have set up some monitoring. Again, we get an email alert, the operations team as well as the DevOps team, and it can create an incident also. So we were watching out for any app crashes, but to be on the safer side, what we did is we went to all the key services, right, cart, checkout, and all those services. We made sure that the min and max values of the auto scaling are adjusted accordingly, so that we want to go through that peak period without having any downtime. So we did that exercise. We discussed as a team, and we handled that scaling piece, right? So when you and as one thing we all know, that when we increase the number of containers, we need to keep an eye on the capacity of the Diego cells. So again, we had this dashboard from the Health Watch helping us checking the size of the available memory within the foundation. Now we use this portal as well as the AppD alerts, and again, based on the need, we went to resource manager and we adjusted the number of Diego cells. Right, that's how we handle the capacity or the memory at the container level, at the foundation level, by scaling accordingly. Right, so we met the logging, we took care of the container memory and the capacity. Then the other thing was the key thing is, right, router health. As you all know, that's a load balancer, and anything that's a main thing for the foundation. So we were always, again, keeping an eye on the router health by looking at the throughput, by looking at the latency, and by so these were one of the parameters, but in addition to that, we use the Microsoft inbuilt monitoring tools. Like these are our Go router VMs. So we had key metrics that we were gathering from each router level. So we set up alerts for each of these parameters. So because we know that each of the SKU size that we chose for a Go router has a limited network IO limit on that. So we've made sure that the network usage is always below around 50-55%. So what it meant was either vertical scaling of the Go routers or adding additional number of Go routers into the pool. So that's how we handle the Go router side. So these were the key things in addition to so many other things, the fine tunings that we did, but logging, memory, as well as the Go routers helped us come out of this support, like this peak times without having any downtime. Gautam?
Yeah. Do you want me to go to the win?
Yes, please.
All right. Take it away.
One second.
Are you guys able to see the screen? Oh, Bhuvan, can you stop sharing if you don't mind?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, very, very happy and proud to be part of a team, right? I mean, all the team members worked together and delivered such an awesome experience to the end customers. And we are now just crossing our limits, right? It's 7 times, 8 times the anticipated load. And we have gone through this peak time, COVID peak time, without any downtime. Company is doing good, very happy to be part of it, this successful journey. And I'm sure that with the platform and the ability that we have demonstrated, we are ready for more challenges in the coming days. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank all my team members and everyone who keep this pivotal up and running and serve the e-commerce needs for our company. I think we shared this, Gautam. So all the analytics, right? This just speaks about the value that we brought in, and this observability, the AppD dashboard also helped in keeping the things on check. So I think that's good enough. Yeah.
All right. Before we go to the summary, Bhuvan, do you want to talk a little bit about what was going through your mind during this spike and during this peak? Just share your emotions and your feelings, because that will help people relate to what they possibly went through during their peak times and stressful times as well.
I think the pandemic part of it, right, has doubled the anxiety. Like everyone normally are there on their toes. Like we are all in IT, in all the retail businesses. We go through this phase during the Thanksgiving or the Christmas or the New Year, that holiday season, right? But what happened with COVID just beats all of that, just because of this personal things going on, right? All the anxiety and other things related to the health. But all in all, within a couple of weeks, we were able to settle down and also deliver it. So it's, I think, cannot be put in words what we have gone through. Like you can say 100 times multiplied by Thanksgiving or Christmas sales, right? So.
Yeah. I completely resonate with you, and I fully agree. It's been extremely challenging, but working with you and your teams has been phenomenal. You guys are persistent, you're tenacious. You all have such a huge purpose, and you take the customer at heart. You know what's at stake. You understand that how a single thing, every action that you take is going to impact humans at a very real level. So kudos to the team. Thank you all for everything that you do. I'm sure that we're going to have much more successes and much more interesting statistics that will come out of it. But in the interest of time, I'd like to wrap it all up and say that we talked a little bit about why the global pandemic is so stressful, and at least broke it down to a little bit about how it has impacted every aspect of life. We then talked about the complexity of business transformations, especially in a post-COVID-19 world. I gave a very brief overview of Tanzu. Bhuvan introduced Albertsons Companies, what they went through, how they did, how they got through it. He did a walkthrough of the various things. We talked about some of the wins and extraordinary accomplishments that the team have done. And the showcase, the case study of Albertsons TAS platform and how it also behaved as an essential worker, trying to do everything possible in order to increase the quality of life of humanity overall, which is truly the crux of what we're fighting through. So what I'd like to do is take a couple of seconds to talk about how we can transform businesses with VMware and the philosophy behind it and how we can help spread all the goodwill and the goodness that Albertsons has seen with many of your other organizations as well. And the crux of what we do, apart from the philosophy of abstraction, about modernization, and about driving to business outcomes, it's all about simplicity. We want to make things much more simple, and we want to make it much more resilient and easy for people to deploy any application, be it traditional, be it cloud native, or be it SaaS, and deploy that on any configuration of your cloud, be it your private data centers that you currently have, be it public IaaSes that you all are investing in, a hybrid model of either of those, maybe edge with IoT and other sensors coming in and gathering the data, maybe kiosks, stores, locations, POS services, all those various edge areas, even cruises, when eventually someday we will start traveling on them without having fear, or in telco cloud. I mean, there's a number of announcements that came around 5G and VMware. Feel free to read about those. But that's the philosophy. We want to have any application on any cloud, and we want it to be form-fitted to any device. Your application should not be limited to a particular mode or channel of entry. We want to make you have that connected customer experience for your users, which is really important. I mean, users do not have the patience anymore. COVID-19 knocked down that patience. If within 15 minutes, or why 15, even within 5 minutes, if I don't get acknowledgement that I will get something delivered, people are going to cancel and move to someone else who will give you that accessibility. If the app doesn't look really good on the device, they'll probably get bored and then they'll move to something else. So we at VMware want to give that any application on any cloud, accessed on any device, but we want to do it with intrinsic security as well, so that you all feel much more comfortable. So in that theme of the simplification, we want to build, run, manage, connect, and protect your app on any cloud, on any device. We tie with your strategic priorities. We help you with your app modernization. We then help you on your multi-cloud journey through data center modernization, hybrid cloud, cloud migration, multi-cloud ops, and so on. We help you with your virtual cloud network through data center networking, SDN, NSX, NSXT, and all those various things. Edge computing, telco, and 5G. We also help you in your digital space with employee experience, modern management, and hybrid VDI. And here, I'd really like to give a call out to our end user computing team, who have been so phenomenal in helping us. We at VMware, we believe in all our products and we use them. We all run Workspace ONE, and it's been amazing to see how we flipped the switch. I do remember we were going to have a kickoff in Vegas, and the Friday before, we got all these various notifications of the pandemic, and we all decided that going physical is probably not the right decision. So overnight, we were able to flip more than 10,000 people from a physical location into remote. We had an amazing kickoff. We continue to do that. We're helping other customers. So hats off to the end user computing team. It's been such a seamless and smooth operation that we really don't miss a lot of the interactions that we would have had in a physical world. And finally, intrinsic security at multiple levels. So I want to end it with the family of products and services that we use. There are a number of people out here. If you're really excited and you want to talk about more of this, I'm sure that you can reach us either through Slack, email us. We're all friendly and helpful, and we love and we're very passionate about talking about these things. I'd like to thank you all for attending this session. Hopefully, it's been a positive experience. Hopefully, you were able to energize yourself. You learned a couple of things along the way. You found a couple of anecdotes that you can tell other people. And if you're really excited about digital transformation and you want to drive towards it, reach out to me, reach out to anyone at VMware. We are more than happy to help and partner with you on your transformation journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gautam and Bhavan. I think this was an important message. If you wait for a disaster to become agile and modernize, you're too late. And we're certainly seeing that these days. I want to remind you to take advantage of the opportunity to engage more deeply with Gautam and Bhavan, and head over to the Slack channel for the Q&A.